Well, with the Confederate side of the turn here, done on the, 2 o'clock turn. See what happened. There was one unit the Union had pinned, which kind of kept them, convinced them to keep their line in place. This is one of the problems with the game. It's hard to disengage. You could abandon a unit. Well, that unit was enfiladed. Since it was pinned, it couldn't turn. It didn't get shot anymore, although the Confederates were able to unload an artillery piece against it and blow away the infantry there. And then the cannons themselves were fairly easily for Price to capture, but he probably could have captured with the troops as well. Just an ugly situation. In fact, he certainly could have with the role he got. Just an ugly situation where, the Union has a hard time getting out of the situation, but they are kind of providing somewhat of a roadblock, so that in some ways can be seen as a positive. Over here, the Confederate disintegration because of McCulloch's death is just horrendous for them. Now, they get him back this turn. That's not guaranteed, but I rolled and there was no delay on it. I should have been rolling, I think, next turn. I'm not sure. The way these are handled is kind of weird. But anyway, couldn't have come back on the Union turn. But I don't know who it's going to be, and I'm going to roll that right now. I don't think it can be Pike, no matter what. And of course I'll get Pike as my option. I think what happens is McIntosh is going to be in charge now. But here's the problem. We got like 3 routed units I can do nothing about. I wasn't able to run and get them or anything like that because all my commands were out of command. Anyway, I got to see if Pike can be elevated, but I don't think he is because he's detached. So if he's not, it looks like it's McIntosh. McIntosh's range is only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not going to get Hebert into command. Pretty much no matter what, the Confederates were looking at a command structure problem here. They can slowly gather it together. You can see Pike came around toward the back. Hebert's forces came towards the front. Leetown's still being challenged. There's no question there. But with the units running away from the battle, I don't know, it can't be too good. Moving to 30. Union lines really forming up and solidifying here with Pattison and White taking their positions. Pattison jumping right into the fray and opening fire on the Indians as well as on Hebert's troops. Even threw in a bayonet charge there, right in there, and pushed back some of Hebert's units. And I forgot to make a morale check for the unit that withdrew. If I can find my dice. Uh-oh. Hit him over here. Pulled back to here. 17th Arkansas. He made a pin check. He's got like a 5, so he's pretty solid there. Union did have an independent unit here. They'd really like to keep that thing, but it's getting close to running off the map, and that'll be a problem if it does. Over here, I don't know. It's a mess. That's all I can say. We got a lot of artillery here. They're plinking back and forth, but a lot more firepower for the Union side. The Confederates do their damage when they swarm in, if they can get a charge in. We got some units being pushed back, though, and that's going to be hard because, they got to run back up, and that's not good terrain for moving through. You retreat through it a lot faster than you attack through it. Okay, after the Confederate half of the turn, McIntosh has taken over command of the division. Now, he still doesn't have 1, 2, 3, 4. He still doesn't have Hebert in command. Hebert's kind of shifted over, actually, further away. But McIntosh has pushed forward, driven another cav unit away. Found out something kind of nice. Oh, I gotta be careful of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 1, 2, 3. I could rally this one. The units that are running kind of stop at the edge of the map. They don't stop retreating, but according to the specific rules of this scenario, they're allowed to run up and down the side of the map. A little weird, but otherwise they'd count as captured losses, which would be really kind of inappropriate, I think. Anyway, definitely seeing a lot of Confederates running. The Indians actually stood against artillery fire here but they got pinned and weren't able to make the advance they wanted to. Hebert himself charged forward and chased the big unit away, doing some damage to it, 1 strength point worth. Over here, most of the Confederate force under Slack, he kind of had these couple hexes up here, got driven back, routed. Now he's rallied those forces. Ooh, did I rally? Yeah, I rallied these two. Price's big stack slammed into some artillery at +2 over on the melee table, but he just got an engaged result, which means they're stuck like that, and the Union can throw in some additional forces, or they can withdraw from the melee. Probably withdrawing is what they want to do. This is, I don't know, it's still good terrain, and that's the problem with giving it up. They're going to cost the Confederates more fighting over that terrain there than anything else going all the way back. The problem is they're going to get eliminated. They're totally outgunned there. But how far back can you give them? There aren't all that many more Union troops coming, and I don't know, it's really tough because this is sort of a bottleneck. I kind of want to hold it, even though I have this opportunity. Alright, back for the Union turn, but I need a break in between these. This game is a little bigger than Wilson's Creek, and I need more pauses, especially seeing how long it's going to be. Moving to 3 o'clock, and the Union over here is kind of trying to push things back together into a little clump to defend themselves. Busey forgot to move, though, and ended up getting pinned in place. That may be the death of his 1 strength point there, which would suck. I probably should have tried. He would have gotten pinned with withdrawal fire anyhow, even if I had tried to correct that, because he got pinned by the fire. We also had an assault here on this Welch, Pike's non-Indian unit. That was repulsed even at the +2 level and drove him back. We had an ammunition depletion over here, but luckily the Union has a supply wagon. They have 2 actually, and those get marked off like this, which is a little different again from the TSS system. TSS small arms supply was done from normal wagons. There was a big train for the artillery supply. Here, both small arms and artillery is handled in this. Of course, in Wilson's Creek, there is no actual resupply. The wagons that are there are just victory point gains. Over here, the Union also won their engagement. They threw in, who is this, Vandiver, and some additional strength points, blew Pike back, and used, this is kind of weird, they used the carbines, or the Colt repeaters, firing through to here. Now, tracing that, I believe that goes over this empty hex, well, this depressed hex where the woods are. That's not going to block anything between these two, and you can trace through 1 light woods. So it's kind of a weird situation, but I think the firing was there. Hit a artillery piece that was limbered and thought it was safe. It went running and took one of Slack's units back with it. So, you know, to me it looks like the Union defense is just barely holding here. Historically, I think things went worse for the Confederates than what we're seeing. However, I also don't know if the Union held this as strongly as I'm attempting to. And I have no idea where this is going to go to, because right now the Union's holding a lot of victory points. So, you know, the Confederates aren't gaining any traction. They've got to get here or get through these, or else I think there's just too many points. There's still a lot of turns left, but there's more Union units coming in, and the Confederate armies, especially McCulloch's side of things, looks pretty much worn down. I don't know if they can make it much further. Anyway, unfortunately, I don't know a hell of a lot about the original battle. I watched, you know, a lecture on it, but it doesn't give you the details the way, you know, probably the S&T magazine did, for example, if I remembered. I know it did with Wilson's Creek, and I think it did for Pea Ridge. Anyway, we'll move on to that next, 3 p.m. turn, after I take another break. Okay, this was an exciting half turn. The Confederates were able to move everything up, just form-fitting around here, as McIntosh slams in. Now you can see this didn't work. They got shot and pushed back. And there's routed units. Heber was only able to rally one unit, so one of his ran away. Pike's command. Well, Pike was wounded, and he's on the track now. So, well, or his replacement is. So more retreating Confederates are going. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to take the station. I thought we were going to take Leeville, or whatever it is. I can't read it anymore. At the beginning of the turn, before the fire happened. It just looked overwhelming what was happening with the Union. But with more troops coming in, I don't see a chance for that now over here. But we did finish off the rest of Busey's cav, and you can see there's an attack coming in from this direction now. So, I mean, the balance has changed. The artillery moved up and positioned itself, but I just don't see how it's going to connect properly. I don't know how I'm going to ever get those units back. I don't think there's a way to get them back. They may rally at the end of the day. If not, I've got problems. I haven't really looked at that rule. The Confederates kind of inched forward. Price managed, well, the artillery managed to drive one of the Union units off. So Price had a +2 odds going in with his ammo depleted guys again. Charges in, he gets repulsed and driven back. This is gone. So it's kind of like they're coming up short everywhere. They're not punching through here at all. And over there, wow, they just got handed their asses, basically. All right. And this rather tumultuous turn ends. Some slight reinforcements. Get our first general on the board, but he doesn't have much under his command. He's just got one infantry unit under his command, essentially. But he came in with a couple independent cav that I sent out this way. I sent Busey with his crippled unit back behind this river, help protect against any possible move by McIntosh this way. Over here, the Union is still stabilized, and this is the thing. The Confederates have decided they can't win here. McIntosh is going to make the move to try to swing down and cut that off, combine with Van Dorn, and get a combined force. The problem with that is I don't know what happens with these guys. I've got to look that up. I'll come back and talk to you about that very briefly. This is moving down, and we're in a new turn, and then I'll load this one up. So here's the problem. At the end of the day, if I haven't recovered those guys, they're still going to be stuck there. Now, there's some option, but it's different units, different commands all over here. The option is I can withdraw brigades of McIntosh's division. In fact, I must withdraw any that are below BCE, I believe, unless they're within range of Van Dorn, command range of Van Dorn, whatever that means. It does mean there's an advantage to me pulling back. But here's the thing. Any brigades I withdraw come completely off the map and come back in as reinforcements, but down here. That doesn't much help me until and unless I can clear this. So it becomes all the more imperative. Do I have enough time? I don't have a lot of turns left to get down there and put a real threat in play. This is a scary thought, but I don't know what else to do. Otherwise, I think I'm just kind of losing these guys. They're running off, and that's a shame because we got some decent-sized troops back here, you know. And this guy is 6. That's a big hunk of whatever advantage the Confederates have. But at this point, if I don't get at least one victory point objectives location, I'm assuming I'm going to lose the battle on the first day. So I have got to make this breakthrough, and I got to try to get there as quickly as possible. There's no force march or anything like that in this version of the system. All right, up it goes.